Michael Kernicki is the head golf professional at Canterbury Country Club in Cleveland, Ohio, and was the president of the Michigan PGA some time ago and worked at clubs all across the state of Michigan. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Michael Patrick. How are you?
St. Andrews, when you make your first trip to the old course and you pull into town and you look at it, it looks like more like a parking lot than a golf course, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does look like a parking lot, but I tell you what, when you're usually so charged up you can't wait to get to the first tee, and it's a splendid, it's a splendid place, and all the history and whatnot. It's grand. It's grand being able to play there, and it should be wonderful to watch this weekend.
Yeah, the Open Championship, I think it's every 5 years or so it goes to St. Andrews, and it moves around in the other years, but the players that win at St. Andrews are the ones that seem to get the most notoriety as champion golfer for the year. I mean, it's the most special thing you could ever wish for in a game of golf, don't you think?
I do. Certainly the major championships mean so much to so many. The Open Championship, though, is a big deal, and I always, in the 35 years that I've been head golf professional, I have always loved the fact to call somebody the champion golfer of the year.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I started that years ago at my clubs for the club champion, and instead of putting on the trophy, here's the club champion, I've always put the champion golfer of the year, because I think that's really special.
Yeah, it's one of the special things, one of the ways they go about their business there in the United Kingdom with the British Open. And just, if you would, talk about what it was like when you went to the old course and what your observations were and why that's such a special place.
Well, as I said, you're pretty charged up, pretty fired up when you're going to have the first opportunity to play. And when you walk onto the sod there,
yeah.
The old sod, and you're looking at 18 coming back at you, and you see the road hole bunker over there at 17, and you go to the first hole, and you really can't see much else of the golf course at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I can't wait to get past that dune over there so that I can get onto the rest of the course. Now, my observation would be one of the things at St. Andrews that you really don't know unless you've been there to play, and you'll get a feel a little bit on television, but the reality is the thing that amazed me was once you got to number 2 and started into the course, your caddy is saying, hit it over the top of that bush, lad. And I'm like, I don't see anything. Now, just hit it over the top of that bush.
Yeah.
And you have to trust it. So consequently, there's lots of blind shots. That's a positive and a negative, but I think some people would say, well, St. Andrews got all those blind shots. Well, and they got all those double greens. But the reality is it's such a special place for the home of golf. And so therefore, but it's pretty cool when you come to 17 and you drive it over to the corner of the hotel, and then all of a sudden you come around, and there's the old tune. The old town.
There it is.
Cool.
It's a grand stage when you get into the corner of town there, and 1 and 18 are right next to each other. And we'll continue with Michael Kernicki right after this. It's Michael Patrick Shields on Monday. 20 minutes before the hour, Michael Kernicki, the past president of the Michigan PGA, now at Canterbury Country Club in Cleveland, Ohio. And in Cleveland, Ohio, they're still in shock after the LeBron James decision. And I wanted to ask you, Michael, from your perspective, have things settled down a little bit, or are they just getting heated up now?
I think they're going to settle down. They got to get over this. There's a lot more things in life more important than LeBron James, that's for sure. They'll get past it. The team's going to be what's going to be. Byron Scott's going to be a good coach, and life changes. You got to be ready for that.
What did you think of Jesse Jackson? I don't know if you saw these quotes or not, but Reverend Jesse Jackson says that Dan Gilbert, the Michigan State University graduate who is the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, sees LeBron James as, quote, a runaway slave, and that his comments after LeBron decided to join the Heat put the player in jeopardy. He says that Gilbert's comments personify a slave-master mentality, and the owner should get a challenge from the league.
Well, I didn't see that, but if you're looking for a comment, my comment would be, who wants to put a whole lot in what Jesse Jackson has to say? Because he seems to want to have an opinion on everything. Now, I want to tell you, Absolutely. These kids in the NBA that make $16 million a year to play this game and, frankly, don't take in, this is my opinion now, do not become role models that they should be. Mm-hmm. And I'm painting a broad brush here, not just LeBron James. And do not become the role models they should be. They get $16 million a year. I believe that they have the teams as slaves, not the other way around. And David Stern from the NBA, he does nothing to promote teams. He promotes individuals, and it's very obvious. Just look at his track record. All he does is promote to be the king, the self-proclaimed king, as Gilbert said. So, you know what? Get over it. There's a lot more things in life that are more important than the NBA. And at the end of the day, it brings millions of dollars into the city of Cleveland. And it is what it is, and so you just deal with it.
Well, your point's taken, too, not only in basketball, but look at Michael Vick, who got the big old second chance after the dogfighting, and now he can't, he's got a shooting at his birthday party, and is he not smart enough to stay away from the element that brings a gun to a birthday party? And I don't know.
It falls into that category in Life According to Kernicki, falls into that category that leopards generally do not change their spots, so... Yeah. There you are. But now I would tell you this on a positive note, because who cares about the rest of these people? I would tell you this, listening to your interview with Cheryl, golly, we're about the same age. And so when I first saw her on TV, I was like, wow, how do you ever meet a girl like that?
Yeah.
And then the first time I saw her on the cover of Golf for Women magazine, I said the same thing, wow. And you know what? If I saw her today at 59 years old, I'd give it the big WOW too.
Well, you've had a couple of spectacular blondes in your life, too, I could venture to say, who were just as pretty as Cheryl Ladd, even though maybe I never saw them in a two-piece bikini like she did when I was a teenager. Steve Stricker, one of the nicest guys on the PGA Tour, wins again yesterday. The John Deere Classic just sort of eats that place up. However, he had that big lead, and coming down the stretch, he had 7-stroke lead and ended up barely winning. There are those of us who can relate to that kind of thing. How do you get it into the house when you got one of those record rounds going?
It's hard to win at whatever level it is. Sometimes winning your local club championship, it's hard to win. And you get a lot of thoughts going in your head. And even when you're 7 strokes ahead, what happens is, here's the deal. You got to keep the pedal to the metal. And the minute you begin to have things creep in to say, well, all I got to do is kind of get it in the fairway here. All I got to kind of do is get it on the green.
Yeah.
That happens to great champions. But you also look at, the ones that can get it done and win at 7 strokes are the ones that keep it to the pedal of the metal and keep focused. Now, and Steve Stricker is you're right, one of the best guys out there.
All right. Enjoy the Open Championship at St. Andrews, and we'll talk again next week.
Sounds great, Michael Patrick, and to all your people, have a great day.
Best to you, Michael Kernicki, Michigan man in Cleveland, Ohio.